may not be as practiced as Orsa, but he showed us initiative in Game 2 against Cool Kid. See how much he has improved in his practice. So right away, both runners are going to start off with Flashman, which is pretty standard from most of the runners you're going to see here. Flashman goes first for two reasons. One, it's a fairly basic stage. There aren't a lot of major skips or glitches that you can take advantage of. The second reason is they're going to get item 3 in addition to the flash stopper weapon. And item 3 will come in handy, particularly if they decide to go with Heatman second. But that remains to be seen. But generally speaking, the first 3 Robot Masters you're going to see are Flashman, Heatman, and Airman. Airman, some will go second, but generally speaking, you're going to see Heat go second because you get item 1 from Heatman, and that can be extremely beneficial to the player. In Airman, it can make the opening section go much faster. So Orsa's already at Flashman, and the trick to Flashman, he's not especially difficult, but you want to be very close to him so you can get your buster shots in without him using his flash ability, like Orsa just did, to perfection. See how MetallicHedgehog is keeping his distance early on. He gets flashed and gets shot at but seems to be in decent. Gets flashed again, but because of his position, was able to avoid getting shot. So he takes care of him about 20 seconds after Orsa did. Now, for those of you wondering why they're playing in Japanese, that's because the Japanese version of the game is 42 seconds faster, and it is precisely because of these text scrolls. In English, it is much slower, which is often the case for a lot of games. But in this Mega Man game in particular, especially compared to the others, it's very pronounced. So, and the other thing with the Japanese version of the game is it doesn't come with 2 difficulties like the North American version, which has normal and difficult. This just has regular, which is difficult. So enemies take more damage and deal more damage. Nice fadeaway there from Orsa using item 3. Metallic taking an unfortunate death at Airman. So he's opting for Airman second, but he's having a hard time just getting to the first platform here. Good item 3 skip by Orsa. This section here is why some players will prefer to use to go with Airman second, because this section is pretty challenging and it's a matter of timing. And doing this section that Metallic is in the safe way is slower, but it also has the advantage of leaving you with more health when you get to Airman. Odds are Orsa is going to be anywhere from half to about a quarter health, depending on his jump when he gets around to it. Excuse me. So Orsa starting on is reach the Heatman fight. Now Heatman is going to attack him after 30, 60, or 90 frames, and obviously you would prefer that it be 30 every time. But here Orsa's kind of getting a little mix of everything, mostly 60s it looks like, but a nice kill. And he's using a somewhat risky strat where he's kind of doing a bullfighter technique where he is sort of dancing around and ooh, death for Metallic. That's the game over. Anyway, he kind of stands there and kind of dances out of the way, sort of provoking Heatman as he charges. So it's fairly risky, especially since Heatman, if he bodies you, does significant damage. Metallic having a really hard time with Airman, particularly the opening. The third time he's fallen in that opening segment. So, meanwhile, Orsa is actually just starting Airman. See how he handles this. So far, so good. He's using item 1 here to help him get some of these early segments. So now he's going to be doing some damage boosts as he goes from cloud platform to cloud platform, all the while trying to avoid taking too much damage. He actually did that very well. He winds up with about half health. So he's in good shape going into the second half of the stage. He'll be triggering the checkpoint now, so the hard part is really over. This is where a lot of the top level speedrunners will have trouble early on, is with Airman stage. He handles it fine and actually gets a nice little health boost, so he should have any trouble with Airman. Now he's going to try to go for a spawning skip, or he's trying to. What the idea is, you let the little birds come out and they chase you and they despawn one of the air robots. So Metallic, by a different route, was trying the same thing. It didn't quite work out. So both of them are going to be at the Airman fight at about the same time, but there's a difference in the number of robot masters cleared. Airman early section is all RNG, depending on how the tornadoes come at you. You hope for something really good, but no guarantees. So good kills by both players. Orsa's 3 robot masters down. It's 49. Metallic is 1 robot master behind at this point. He'll be likely going to Heatman next. So from here, the routes will generally converge, and there shouldn't be a whole lot of difference from here. You might see some minor differences, but after this, it's probably going to be Clash, Quick, Metal, Wood, and Bubbleman. Clashman is somewhat notorious because you skip about half the level, using a little sequence break here, or it's just setting up with item 1. Okay, clips into the wall there, and so he's going to try and set it up, and he's going to use Heatman to make his death animation quicker, and Metallic is actually going to Quickman third. Very interesting. I had said before the race started that he probably wasn't as practiced as Orsa was, and that also likely means he's, instead of going with third route at this stage, his experience, he might go with something he's more comfortable with, which is not necessarily wrong. I mean, you're trying to beat the game as fast as you can, and in a race setting, you want to do it the way you know how. And Metallic, going through the opening section with these quick bars legit. I think he's going to probably switch over to Flash at some point. Meanwhile, Orsa continuing to grind his way through. Did a very nice ladder climb, and, well, zipless. As Chad is pointing out. Well, if it works, and he did that like a champ, so... Well, Orsa takes care of Clashman with 3 air attacks. So very nicely done by Orsa, and a very good ladder climb as well. You use item 3 very well to get up there quickly. So Quickman is not the hardest boss, but he can be trolly. You know, and he's not really given Metallic a lot to work with, but Metallic gets a nice little sequence of hits there and takes care of him at 9:51, so he's about 3 minutes behind. As them both having completed 3 Robot Masters, but Orsa is on his 5th, and Metallic's about to start his 4th. Interesting to see where he goes from here. He's going with Metal Man. Okay. Good choice. Orsa setting up another zip here. He was a little off the first try. Second try, perfect. Very nicely done. Gets the lights back on. If you were going for a world record run or not a race, he would probably have the lights off, but safety first here. So Orsa doing a nice job. And feel pretty precise in his movements for the second half. Ooh, takes a gamble for that extra life, but pays off nicely. It's likely going to be for future sequence breaks, which do cost lives, like the Woodman one. Orsa setting up the Quickman zip. Getting the Clash Bombs ready. Metallic, meanwhile, takes a death at the just past the checkpoint. So he gets a restock of health, and Orsa missed a Clash Bomb shot, but lured the unsuspecting Quickman into the trap. So very nice backup by Orsa. And Chad is pointing out that the world record contenders have started to turn the lights back on. That's interesting. I know it was a time save, but I also know it wasn't a significant one, fairly minute. But thank you for pointing that out. So Metallic, not the quickest Metal Man fight, but he takes care of it. Orsa's having a little trouble with the zip here. Third time's the charm. Zooms through that room. Saves about 15 to 25 seconds. So nice job by him. Metallic is moving on to Bubble Man. Well, at least we can say we're going off the beaten path here, and you know, like I said, if it works for you, you know, and you can execute what you need to do consistently, then hey, go for it. Orsa doing a little dance on the edge there is used item 2 to get past that section, so he's on his way to Metal Man, Robot Master number 6. The one advantage to playing Metal Man early is you get to spam the Metal Blades, which are an extremely useful and abused item in the game. They pretty much take care of almost anything, and will. And they hardly ever run out of ammo. Metallic continuing to use zipless strats here. I think he's going for a little bit of a refill there on health, but he should be okay against Bubble Man. So Orsa is likely going to be setting up another major sequence break like he did with Clash Man that will cost him a life, but will allow him to skip over the second half of the level. He's using flash strats to keep the cats from appearing, and gets that just fine. So Hedgehog gets 3 bubbles from Bubble Man. That's RNG on how many bubbles you get. Had a little trouble with his shots, but took care of business. Orsa, meanwhile, continuing to go through the sequence break. Looks like it's going well. Cats, dogs. Yeah. Orsa gets the sequence break. Fine. So he's going to take on Woodman. Should be a pretty simple fight. It's in his hitbox, and that's it. So 7 down, 1 to go for Orsa. Metallic is starting his 6th Robot Master, Heatman. This, I believe, is more of a zipless strat than a traditional any percent strat, because Heatman is weak to Bubble Man. So mass hysteria indeed, chat. Yes, cats and dogs living together. Metallic is well on his way to a pretty solid first half of the game here. Should be on pace for about a 17-15, 17-30, which is among the better times I've seen. The matches I've covered, I've seen a lot of the winners generally end up in the high 16, low 17 range. I think the record that I have so far is Prissy had a 16:04 first 8 Robot Masters, according to my little cheat sheet here. So that's very good. Metallic, taking advantage of item 2, gets a quick route to Heatman without having to do all that platform jumping. Orsa, a little low on health. Got to be a little careful and hope for a good pattern against Bubble Man, but he should be okay. Metallic having no trouble with Heatman, and 1 bubble from Bubble Man, and that's it. So he is out of the Robot Masters at 17-17. Very nicely done. Metallic still has 2 Robot Masters clear. He has to take care of Woodman and Clashman. There's Dr. Wily and his famous eyebrows for the audience as we get ready to start the Wily stages. Now come to what is widely considered one of the best soundtracks in the series, Wily 1 theme. The game is well known for its sound. Mega Man 2 in particular is known for its soundtrack. And this one, when you ask a lot of people, this tends to be 1 or 1A on the list. Chat, what's your favorite Mega Man theme? Doesn't have to just be exclusive to this game, but let everyone know what you really think. Orsa taking his climb up the tower, setting up, hoping to go for a zip and save him from having to climb that ladder, which is incredibly slow, and gets it. Got to vote for the Wily 1 soundtrack that we're listening to right now, as well as the Mega Man 3 opener, which I agree, that's a very nice, underrated piece. But I'm also a big fan of the boss fight music that Orsa's just initiated, and had no trouble with the dragon. Use those quick boomerangs and ground him into dust, or whatever it is he became, but very nicely done. Metallic, still working his way through Woodman stage, nice use of item 2 to skip the roosters and get on to the boss fight without too much trouble. Orsa gets a refill, I believe, of item 1. Going to be setting up another skip, another zip here. Use a damage boost from those. Oh, he didn't get it. He's going to have to do it again. And takes a death. He was a little too far to the left there. The idea is you clip into the wall and you can zip past there and allow yourself to grab the ladder as you zip past. It's pretty tricky because this is a very precise jump and skip, because if you miss, it's game over, as Orsa just showed us. Nice job by Metallic. I think he took a death there. Just reloaded with full health and no problems. So 7 down, 1 to go. He's got Clashman last, and Orsa, having had enough of the item 1 skip, opts for item 2, and that works fine because he's taking the game over. Is not such a bad thing because he gets all of his item health back, gets all his item ammo back. That'll be especially useful in the later Wily stages. Orsa use Woodman's ability to get through this tight corridor. Hope for no item ammo drops and didn't get any. Pretty fortunate. Those drills come in from all directions and there's a decent chance you're going to at least get something to slow you down, but not in this case. Metallic continuing with the zipless strats through Clashman stage, which fairly long stage. You do it zipless and rather common. I think last. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Clash tends to be last. So, Orsa taking on the Wily 2 boss, and I'm not quite sure what they are. I heard toasters. That's about as good as explanation as any, but more in terms of practical boss fighting, there's no RNG. It's the same pattern every single time. So just get those metal blades ready and just take them out. So Orsa, 2 Wily stages down at 22-26. Metallic still working his way through Clashman stage, putting those metal blades to good use. So get your counts in for how many fishies we're going to see between Orsa and Metallic. It'll be anywhere from 2 to 4. Get those counts in. There's 1 fish. And there's 2 fishies. Lightning are a little late, sorry. Prizes are void when you, after they appear. So, anyway, so get your predictions in for Metallic. Is it going to be 2 more, or... So, Orsa, no problems with Wily 3, gets the quick boomerangs and should have no problem with this boss. It's either going to be 3 jumps or it's 4 jumps. But very nicely done. And Metallic took care of the 8 Robot Masters in 23 minutes 37 seconds. So about just over 6 minutes slower than Orsa. But after that fortunate start with Airman, he has played pretty consistently the whole way. He's made good use of his zipless strats, but you can just see the difference between the 2 players just in the way they're going about their strategies. Doesn't make Metallic a bad gamer, but he's done quite well, I think, but that's just the reality of the situation. This is not a zipless tournament, but if zipless is what you know, then go for it. You never know. So, while Metallic gets started with Wily 1, Orsa's going through what is affectionately known as Purple Hell by the community. Using item 1 very nicely in that first room, and I'm going to set up a little zip here. Kind of quasi-zip, having the item 1 go through the wall because Nintendo logic. Oh, he missed the damage boost. Going for a damage boost. He missed the jump though. Zip save 2 minutes. Thank you, chat. So Orsa setting up another another item 1 skip. This is going to should be okay. Ooh, he was a little high, so he dropped to the ground, but thankfully he has plenty of item 1 ammo. Clash bombs set up. These are the only weapons that will damage these enemies. Wants to have 2 clash bombs. Red. Ooh. Oh, Metallic. Got himself knocked out of position and has to take a game over. Orsa tried to go for damage boost. It didn't quite work out, but we ran out of Clash Bomb ammo, but at least we finished the stage at 26:31. Metallic, taking a game over, will have to do Wily 1 again. So Orsa now doing the refights. There is a general pattern to how this works. Quickman is always first because, you know, Buster's really going to be the only item you can use because you burn through all the Clash bombs going in. So now it's going to be the Airman segment. Orsa 3 hits and Airman and Clashman is out. Next up is Woodman, also weak to air. Gets a hitbox. Takes care of him. So next up is Airman, who's weak to Woodman's ability. That does make this a little trying because Woodman's ability is best used at close range, and Orsa takes a death there. Got a little too close to Airman. Metallic gets back to the Dragon's Lair. He's going to hope for better luck this time. He got hit by a fireball and got thrown off the platform. Oh! This time he threw himself off the platform, or he slipped. One of the two. That's unfortunate. So Orsa on Bubble Man. Problem there. Now it's onto the metal section. Gets 2 bubbles. Time. Got caught there. So here comes the Metal Man refight. 1, 2. 1-2 punch and he's out. Finally is Flashman. You remember that guy that they fought at the beginning of the game? Well, now it's onto the Wily machine. He has no bombs, so he's going to use Heatman strats for the first half of this fight. He's going to go back to Metal Blades for the second half and spam them. So he takes care of business at 29. Oh no, another death for Metallic. So Orsa is 1 corridor and a final boss fight with the alien away from taking game 1. Metallic, after a nice second half of the Robot Masters, has had a whale of a time with with the dragon in Wily 1. I think he's on his last life, too. Orsa setting up the Wily 1 skip, the Adam 1 skip. Shuffling his way in. We learned all along that Wily was an alien. Which actually kind of would explain an awful lot. So, Orsa. The nice thing with this boss is his entire path is the same. It's always a figure 8 with the occasional shot. And that does it. So, GG to Orsa finishes with an official SRL time of 30 minutes, 41 seconds. And Metallic has chosen to forfeit game 1. So, doesn't want to go on with this. So, which I understand, but still on Wily 1. Nope. Doesn't feel the need to go on any further, and this race actually is starting about an hour later than it should have. But, yeah, that's alright. We're all here. We're all happy, so that's fine. So, we should be getting Game 2 started in the next couple of minutes. Don't think there's going to be a whole lot of difference in terms of strategies or execution from our runners. Metallic, between matches, is working on those airman strats and having a little bit of trouble there, trying to get the timing and the jumps right, but easier said than done. It's a very narrow window. I'm sure Orsa as well is going to hope for some better play, and he's working on Wily 2 and trying to get that item 1 skip that befuddled him the match. And it all worked out in the end. He did fine. He used the backup strat, which is item 2. No worse for the wear. But also working on Wily 4, it looks like. Which is a fairly can be a fairly demanding level, because you have X amount of clash bombs, and if you miss 1 or 2, you're in serious trouble. So, we should be starting Game 2 in a minute or so. They're just getting themselves situated in SRL. Regarding a question from the chat about this being emulated, I couldn't comment. Yeah, as Lightning's pointing out, a lot of them do use the Japanese cartridge. So far as I know, that is the most reliable and the most consistent, but perhaps chat can enlighten everybody else, those who are extremely experienced with the game. Okay, looks like they're ready to go. So, good luck to both of our runners in Game 2 of this best of 3 tournament. As stated at the beginning, the winner of this match will move on to the consolation bracket for a shot to move on in the tournament. The winner will play either Cool Kid or Colonel Fatso, two very accomplished Mega Man 2 runners. The loser, unfortunately, will be exiting the tournament. So for Metallic, this is do or die at this point. His execution's going to be on point with zipless strats. He's going to have to be more consistent with Airman, and he's going to have to really come through in Wily 1, and also probably hope for a mistake or two from Orsa, which is not ideal, but there it is. What's your prediction, chat? We going to have a Game 3? Game 3 seems to be happening a lot lately. I had a couple over the weekend in Mega Man 2. Mario 3 randos have been going to Game 3 a lot lately, so why not? Let's have a Game 3. Be starting in the next couple of seconds. They have been given the go-ahead in SRL. They are off. Oh yes, there is a Game 4 because, what, the Game 3 ended in a statistical tie, as I understand it. There's our sound. Much better. Thank you, Feasel. So, as before, they're going to be going Flash first, and then, well, we had quite a bit of a route divergence from our two players after that. Metallic opting to go Air second and then Quick third, whereas Orsa continued with the standard Flash first, Heat second, Air third. Get the other 3 items early. So Orsa again getting into Flashman's arena at about 122. Metallic is only about 4 or 5 seconds behind. Took the safer route, but right there with them. Orsa showing good execution with the Flashman strats. Just manages to get rid of him before he could activate his Flash Stopper. Metallic getting a nice little bit of luck there with Flash shots missing him the first time, not the second time, but he takes care of business. So, gotta read Dr. Wily's blabbering about how great Item 3 is. sure it is great, but do we really have to spend all this time reading all this? Especially most of us aren't fluent in Japanese, but that's a separate matter. Luckily, it does not take away from one's enjoyment of the game. Nice one-up pickup by Orsa. That's a nice little bit of luck. Probably take advantage of that later on. Should have stopped at item 2, according to Lightning Dad. Well, you know, far be it from me to deny someone the ability to invent things, but yeah, probably. Metallic using zipless strats while Orsa zips through that corridor. Platform his way across here. Metallic had a little trouble with one of the cloud enemies. Orsa handling just fine. So he's on his way to Heatman, and as I mentioned in Game 1, Heatman is a timing-based boss where Orsa's going to do a bullfighter technique and kind of just try and jump out of the way and keep Heatman from hitting him. Fairly risky, especially if you're close, but you know, it is pretty beneficial. But it also is dependent on how fast Heatman charges at you, and right now he's not giving Orsa a lot of 30-frame attacks, it's been a lot of 60s. But no problem. Metallic gets through Airman stage cleanly this time, and is on his way to fighting him, and gets a decent pattern with the tornadoes, and is able to take care of him, no problem. Orsa picking up item 1. Metallic's going to be picking up item 2. If he were more comfortable with the standard route, he'd go Heatman 3rd, but he prefers the zipless strats, and that involves Bubble Man, it seems. So more power to him. His start so far has been stronger than it was in Game 1. He played Airman stage very effectively. Orsa getting across the chasm very nicely. Metallic again is going with Quickman 3rd, and he got through this without the use of Flash Stopper in Game 1. He's not going to go for the item 1 skip. He's just going to play this through, use Airman's ability to open up a path for him. Looks like Orsa's roughly on pace with his Game 1 split, which was 649 when he took out Airman. Maybe a couple of seconds behind overall, but still very, very consistent play by Orsa. He's got to be a little careful here. He's low on health. One more bodied hit would have taken care of him, would have done him in, but nicely done. 647 this time for Orsa. Metallic is getting started with Quickman. He's about 2/3 health, so if he gets a decent pattern from Quickman, he can make up that health deficit right away, but he's not getting a lot early on. Man's opting to stay in the bottom left corner, and now he's starting to come out to attack. Metallic uses his energy tank, himself a refill, but Quickman just wasn't giving him anything in that corner there, but that refill pays off nicely, and he is done with 3 Robot Masters at 734. So yeah, about 45 seconds behind Orsa at this point. Orsa's setting up the Clashman zip. Looks like everything going to plan. Uses Heatman's charge ability for quick death. He is through. Metallic continuing on with his preferred path, and takes a little more damage than he would have liked from the claw. Trying to use a damage boost to get through, but didn't work, and he lost half his health in the process. Orsa, meanwhile, continuing to make his way up. Item 3 to help him speed through some of this. Metallic taking a death there. That damage from the claw was too much for him to overcome, so I imagine he's going to... Well, he's not going to play it too safe. He's going to continue using his damage boost strats, and... Ooh, that was unfortunate. He's got to hope for a nice item refill here. Nope. No item, no health refill, so he's going to have to do this again. He might want to entertain the idea of going for that energy tank, but he's decided to press on and takes another hit from the claw's teeth, so he lost about half his health there. Orsa, no problem with Clashman. Metallic, nice platforming there to get through the room, but memory serves, I think he's on his last life, so he's got to play this straight through. Passes the extra life. Keep on going. I wonder if he knows about quick boomerangs effectiveness against those dancing gears. Okay, he still has an extra life, so he's fine. So he can afford to take a death at some point if he runs into trouble, but he should be okay. No. Maybe I spoke too soon. He's down to 2 healths, and he's about to fight Metal Man. The good news is he can take the death and then just reload full health and take care of Metal Man with a barrage of boomerangs, so that I don't have to worry about getting hit. So, yep, took the intentional death. Orsa doing a nice job through the gold bars at Death Room. Clash Bomb's ready and is moseying on over to Quickman's arena. Metallic having a little trouble with Metal Man. Doesn't seem to realize if you just stay on your side of the room, on the left side, and just throw your boomerangs, you'll be fine. He won't charge at you. Good Quickman fight from Orsa. Got all of his shots on the money. So Orsa maintains about a one robot master lead. He's starting his 6th. Metallic is starting his 5th. Down to his last life. He should be okay in Bubble Man, but some runners might have just taken an intentional death, game over, and just get a full set of lives. If this were an Orsa's case, for Orsa, he probably wouldn't be here, but in this stage, but not the worst idea in the world. It costs a few seconds, but you know, if you're trying to go for those advanced clips, you're gonna take a couple of deaths along the way, so it's not a bad idea to make sure you have the necessary lives to make it happen. Nice item 2 maneuvering by Orsa. Metallic continuing to work his zipless magic. Bubble Man stage. A little caught there in the corridor, and spikes don't make navigation that easy. Couple of little health refills for Metallic. Those frogs are pretty generous, I will say that. So, Orsa getting ready to do a Woodman. Set up the good wood skip. Save him about a minute overall, maybe more. Item 2 zip along. Closest thing this game gets to an auto-scroller. Job by Metallic with Bubble Man. Using a couple of very minor skips so he doesn't have to deal with any enemies in these corridors here. Otherwise, if he didn't use any, he would be facing at least one enemy before reaching this room. Now he's going to set up the good wood skip. Looks like he's okay. This looks fairly weird, but not to worry. Professionals at work here. Metallic, I think that was intentional on the game over, so he's going to get a full set. He's going to get a full set of lives here as he enters Heat Man stage, which is his 6th. So again, he's about a 1.5 robot master behind, probably closer to 2 now that Orsa has successfully done the good wood skip. Nicely done by Orsa. Metallic. Again, not availing himself of a skip that would save him a fairly significant chunk of time here. Orsa is 1 robot master away from clearing out. Heading to Wily. Game 1, he had a 17-17 through the 8 robot masters. Which is not bad. It's about in line with what some of the other runners have achieved in their races thus far. The item 1 skip, get through this 1 corridor, and yep, nicely done. Metallic about to start his fight with Heat Man. Got his bubbles ready to, I think 5 hits and he's down, and he's out. Ooh. Metallic firing the wrong direction, but it worked out. Orsa on his last robot master. Shouldn't have too much trouble here. 2 bubbles. Boxes him in, and he is done. Robot masters at 16 minutes, 51 seconds. So 26 seconds faster than in game 1. I think he had a little trouble with a skip or 2 in game 1, which would account for the difference, but overall, his play in general seemed to be a little more consistent. He didn't have problems with Quick Man. His movement was on point and very well done. Metallic, starting his 7th Robot Master, Woodman. Looks like he'll be on pace to should at the very least be on pace to exceed his time in Game 1, which was 23:37. He had a really hard time with Airman Game 1. Today, in Game 2, not so much. He did very well. Took a couple of unfortunate deaths in Metal Man's stage. Avoided a game over until he got to Heat Man, which was, I'm pretty sure, intentional, so he can get a full stock of lives. Metallic continuing on. So he will not. Orsa missing the item 1 skip, so he's just going to go up the ladder here. Very tight corridors, so if you don't get it the first time, you're better off continuing on. I think he missed it in Game 1 as well. He did get the 2nd skip, so see how he does here. Okay, good, yep, got it. That's a nice little time save, because climbing is really slow and boring here. You can avoid it, you should. So Orsa ready to face off against the dragon, who gave Metallic endless amounts of grief in Game 1. Orsa had a very quick and optimized dragon fight. See how this fares this time. Gets himself into position. Very nicely done. Good execution as you could hope for. Damn, that fire button. Metallic, a little carefully, he's a bit low on health. And that, it's unfortunate, but give it another go. Orsa had some real trouble Game 1 with this stage. He tried to go for the item 1 skip into the wall. It didn't work, and after he took a game over, he opted to go with the item 2 skip. Well, no problems there. Had a little trouble. Oh dear. Okay, he's through. Had a little trouble with his platforming abilities there, but he's fine. Nicely done by Orsa. Metallic getting ready to start his 8th Robot Master, Clashman. Two pretty good item drops from the little drills for Orsa 2 games in a row. He only had 1 item pickup in this game, and he had none in Game 1. Nothing slowing him down as he went up. He went through the corridor. Now Orsa about to face off against the robotic toasters, or whatever you want to call them. Wily 2 boss. Again, it's pure, everything is predetermined. There is absolutely no RNG here. Had a little aim was a little off there, but he's through at 21:33, so that's almost a minute faster than in Game 1. Directly attributable to the game over he took. 1. Metallic getting ready to do the climb. He's got his metal blades ready. Definitely not the fastest strat, but great for item and health refills if you can get anything to go your way. Not much so far for Metallic. You got a little bit there, but not much. Get your fish counts in, folks. How many fishies? There's 1. 2 fishies. Metallic availing himself of the E-tank is... Yeah, I don't know. You know, he's got an extra life. He's fine. So, he doesn't have to take out Clashman the first time around. But he's playing it safe and taking the health refill. He should be fine, though. Should be fine. If his first hits are decisive, he should be okay. A little trouble with his aim, but gets through, and Orsa, no problems with the Wily 3 boss. Metallic is done at about 23:10, which is actually only 27 seconds faster than his time in Game 1, which is, I guess that's mostly due to his struggles in Metal Man's stage this time. He had a really hard time with that opening corridor. Orsa, starting Wily 4, otherwise known as Purple Hell among the community. Doing some small skips here, trying to speed this room along. Did he get the skip? Yes, he did. That might have been a little too far towards the ladder for that to work, but no problems. It's a nice little zip there. Corridor go faster. See how he does here in these rooms. He had trouble. I think it was the third room, the third spike room, where he had to quickly adjust and avoid a death. That was some fairly clutch play. Yeah, this time he gets the skip. Very nice. Yeah, he showed some clutch play in Game 1 with that in that room, managing to recover in time and set up a backup strat that got him through. He had a little trouble with Wily 4 boss. Good setup here. Didn't drop to the floor like in the bottom of the floor like in Game 1. 3 down. Try and get a... I think he's a little high there. Yep. So it gets a damage boost though. So he'll have 1 Clash Bomb for the Wily Machine fight in Wily 5. So he's done at 25:18, so about 75 seconds ahead of Game 1 time. Metallic going against arch enemy, the dragon, and, well, goes straight off the ledge, unfortunately. Let's try again. Airman and the Wily 1 Dragon were his biggest problems in Game 1, and Game 2 it seems to be Metal Man and Wily 2 and Wily 1 boss. Orsa going through the refights, took out Quickman pretty easily. Going through the Airman section, and no problem with Clashman. Woodman's next. There, it'll be Airman actually, and then Bubble Man. Oh, I'm sorry, Heatman. Then, so Orsa had a little trouble here. He was low on health, and he didn't get a good pattern from Airman, so he actually took a death. Wasn't a significant time loss, but it was still unfortunate all the same. Metallic looking okay for the setup. Takes a hit from the dragon, but was well positioned and manages to avoid the death. So made it farther in Game 2 than he did in Game 1, officially, so well done to him. Fortunately, it's not going to have a whole lot of impact on the race. Orsa is less than 2.5 minutes clearing out. Metal Man refight 1-2, he's out. Flashman last up. This is appropriate since he was the first boss that he fought. Metallic using the item 2 skip. Get an E-tank for this. Orsa setting up the flash bombs. Sir Wily, you gotta be careful. He's running low on. Oh, he takes a death. Oh, that's unfortunate. He has very little, very few metal blades left. So you have to use heat strats for the first phase, which is fine. He's going for intentional death. Okay, he's gonna reload. So, very unfortunate. He's got to do this again. The good news is he'll have plenty of clash bombs to take care of the Wily machine. This has still got to be more than a little frustrating. Actually, a little surprised he didn't try at least the Heatman strats for the first half of the fight anyways, but perhaps something we can ask him later. Meanwhile, Metallic going through the Wily 2 boss. So, nice and close and grinding through. Orsa's got to be careful again, he's a little low on health. Against Airman, he takes care of it, and Metallic takes care of the Wily 2 boss at 29:32, so he's about 8 minutes behind Orsa at this stage. Gets rid of Heatman with Bubble. It's the Metal Man stage of the fight. You're gonna be able to clear out, take care of any health problems he has. Say hi and bye to Metal Man. 1, 2 for 3 on his shots. Metallic, how many fishies is he gonna get? 1 and 2. So we had 4 fishies in Game 4. In Game 2, I mean. Game 4 is later for another match altogether. That's gonna be pretty hype. So Orsa, using clash bombs, rips through Wily 5, 30-30. So he's going to be about a minute slower than he was Game 1 because of that game over. It was unfortunate. Would have been on pace for about a 29-30 if everything had held. But it's unfortunate. Death at the wrong time. Setting up the last zip in the game. Metallic, no problems with the Wily 3 boss. Alien making his grand debut. And that will do it. GG to Orsa finishes with an official SRL time of 31 minutes, 35 seconds. Oh, nicely done by Orsa. He will move on and will play the loser of Cool Kid and Colonel Fatso in a winner-take-all match. The winner will move on to the bracket stages, and the loser will fortunately be exiting the tournament. Only 2 can advance from each group. Metallic is going to play this through. It's like, oh, that's unfortunate. Slipped off the edge of the moving platform. I think he was going for a damage boost strat. Didn't quite work out. Let's give it another shot. Metallic taking it slow. He's on his last life, so he's got to be pretty careful here. Setting himself up. Orsa. See if Orsa's up for an interview. You don't see this very often from runners in this tournament using Woodman's ability as a shield to get past these enemies, but to work well for him. Metallic gonna wait this out. Orsa has politely declined his request for interview. Fair enough. GG to him. Good luck to him in could end up being a rematch with Colonel Fatso, and that one went to 3 games. So I'm sure he's eager to get some measure of revenge against his opponent and move on to the bracket stages. Should be an entertaining match, I'm sure. Metallic getting ready to take on the Wily 4 boss. Playing it safe with the flash bombs. Should be okay. Taking a health refill before moving on. Two shots left, so he's going to have to use some item 3 here. Self-situated. Okay, he should be fine. And that will do it. So Wily 4 is done at about 35-26. Metallic getting ready to go through the refights here. Interesting to see if he takes the same route. Nope. Right away, he's going his going his own way. Okay, I see what he's doing. He's taking an intentional death. He's going to restock on health and on lives and goodies. But we'll see if he actually goes back to Heat Man now that he's got all his lives and all of his ammo back. Yep, he's going back to Heat Man, so... Pretty quick fight. He's got to be a little careful. He's having a little trouble with Heat Man. He's not getting a lot of help from... Oh, wow. Wasn't able to... Trying to jump over him, trying to jump away from him. Didn't work out, unfortunately, so try and go again. Got to keep an eye on his bubble ammo as well. Should have more than enough for the alien, but he can't afford to run out because bubble is the only thing the alien is weak to. just like the ones from Spoiler Alert Sign. Water. Who knew? Metallic Optic use Buster strats here. Careful, he's running low on health. And oof. Fortunate. Doesn't know Woodman is his weak point, or he just prefers Buster strats. Not getting much help from the patterns. That's 2 bad patterns in a row. That's 3 in a row, man. Man. Real Airman being a real troll. Metallic opting to use Heatman strats, which you don't see a whole lot of, and it's very effective. It's 2 fully charged shots, he's out. But runners generally tend to favor Airman strats because it's a little faster overall. 3 bubbles, that was from Bubble Man, but no match for the Metal Blades. Next up is Quickman, who use Flashman strats to at least drain half of his health. Quickman a little easier overall because he's on a flat arena, so he can't duck your shots like he would in the opening part of the game. So nice job on Clashman. So that just leaves Metal and Flashman to close it out. First barrage of shots was only halfway successful, but the second burst got him. Now Flashman. Flash being pretty generous with his movement. Doesn't really jump around too much. So now it's on to the Wily machine to close out Wily 5. Using metal strats, fine. They do plenty of damage, but not nearly as effective as Heatman or Clash Bombs. Okay, there's his Clash Bomb. Shooting a little too high, but it works out just fine. So 40-12 for Wily 5 through Wily 5. So he's down to the home stretch here. Got to do is give Alien a healthy dose of bubbles, and that will do it. Give him your hype. So chat, give him your hype. He deserves it. Playing this through like a champ. Nice use of the zipless strats. You just run straight through. You're not going to get hit by any of those drips, and they do serious damage. You don't want to get hit. As long as he's cautious, he should be okay. He's got to be accurate with his bubble shots all the same. First there. Damage there. Still should be in decent shape. As long as he doesn't take any. Oh no! You got bodied. If you get bodied by the alien, that's 20 damage. Oh no! Oh. So Metallic has forfeited from the race. That's a shame. Too bad. But GG's to both of our runners. Orsa, as I indicated, will be moving on. He'll be playing the loser of Cool Kid and Colonel Fatso. And Metallic, unfortunately, will be taking an exit from this tournament. It looks like Metallic will be joining us for a quick interview. So... a little bit of setup. Still working, getting him set up here. So playing a Resident Evil game, Cap? Nope, Mega Man. So, once again, I think we're having some audio problems on his end. So it looks like we're going to just wrap it up here, I think. But once again, GG's to Orsa and MetallicHedgehog for their runs tonight, and congrats again to Orsa, and congrats to Metallic for putting up a good fight and for grinding through in his own way. So give these runners a follow if you haven't already. They deserve it. And I think we're going to wrap it up here. I'm Pro8007. I'm glad I was able to join you on this commentary for tonight. It was a little later than we were supposed to start by about an hour, but glad it all worked out and glad we got to see this race. We got plenty more coming up in the next few days. Quick peek at the schedule. Got a few in the pike. Saturday we have 2 races between at 1 p.m. Eastern EDT. We have Cypher, the world record holder, facing off against Mazimov. At 11 EDT, we have Fasted CC versus Llama Pals. And Sunday at 6 p.m. EDT, we have Prissy versus Casio Third. So, some entertaining matches with some very good runners coming up in the next few days. So keep an eye out for those on the Speed Gaming channels. Be sure to subscribe to all of them so you know which one the races are happening. Also check the Speed Gaming schedule, which is pretty regularly updated. So for day of matches, you'll know pretty quickly. So I think that will do it. I'm again Pro A007. Thank you for joining us, and hope to see you again soon.